Hey, what's going on YouTube? Mr. Football here, and today I'm back with my top 5 things players need video series. And today we're going to be focusing in on linebacker. So no matter if you play inside linebacker or outside linebacker, we're just going to be focusing in on the position of linebacker today. Going through all the gear that a linebacker will need during their playing season throughout all games and practices. We're going to probably go over more than 5 items. But all of these items, which may be 10 or 12 things we talk about, are going to be focused into 5 main things. And we're going to consider those gloves, cleats, padded compression, shoulder pad / key accessories with the shoulder pad, and then the mouth guard with that. So we're going to consider all 5 categories, but the categories are going to be very vast within themselves. So there's a lot of different styles of cleats and gloves you can get. There's different styles of shoulder pads and all kinds of accessories that you can add to it. So it's up to your interpretation. I'm just giving you the 5 things that you gotta have. Like I said, we always start these off with cleats. And from reading about linebackers and seeing what NFL players wear, see what college linebackers use, and kind of just having a general idea. Linebackers probably are going to prefer more of a low top, I wouldn't say a low top cleat, only for the fact that this would, increase your speed a little bit. They're not as heavy. So you got to find somewhere between like the lightness of a low cleat and the more power and you would say more protection that a mid to high cleat would give you. I would say you could go with, the Under Armour highlight cleats would be a good example of a linebacker style cleat, being that they are a high top cleat with the capabilities of being lightweight, as well as the Adidas Freak X Carbon cleats. Specifically the mid cleat would probably be an okay choice as well. The Nike Force Savage Pro 3 cleats would also be a good linebacker choice, which kind of gives you that mid cleat design that would be beneficial in protection and would be a lightweight cleat in itself. Okay, and now we're going to move on to gloves. I do believe the linebacker needs to wear a hybrid padded glove. Not saying they have to have lineman gloves or receiver gloves, but you need the middle. So what we do is we find a hybrid glove. Okay, a hybrid glove is going to have padding on the back, like a lineman glove, but it's going to have the receiver grip that you would expect in a pair of receiver gloves. So one of the best options that everybody kind of goes for as linebackers is the Superbad. These are the Nike Superbad 4s. As you can see, these are my college edition for the Arkansas Razorbacks. So have those. Just your standard, your Superbad gloves, your hybrid gloves. Are going to range around $50, so they are going to be a little higher on the cost end, but they are going to provide a lot of protection on the back of the hand. They're going to still remain lightweight, and you're going to maintain the ability to have receiver grip so you can catch that interception and return that baby for a touchdown. So I do think the Superbad 4s are probably the best overall choice. And when we look at, if you don't like the Superbad 4s, there's also, padded gloves out there by Under Armour and Cutters and Battle and all the other brands as well. We move on to padded compression with girdles. I don't get too complex into looking at girdles. You want something that's going to be lightweight and flexible, something like the McDavid Hex style of pads. They're going to have the hip pads be able to move around. And then you're going to have some solid surface here on your thigh pads. You can wear these as well if this is something that interests you as a linebacker, but would be one of the padded compression tops, usually a 4 to 5 pad compression top where you've got pads on the shoulders, the sides, kind of around the ribs, and then one on the back. All right, now moving on to another important piece of equipment is your shoulder pads. So linebackers are going to need to utilize protective yet lightweight shoulder pads. So something like the Riddell SPK line of shoulder pads, specifically the linebacker fullback type of shoulder pads, Now these are the custom CPK, so these were exclusively customized with the colors inside. Normally these have a red and black interior and kind of have the same shell structure of the pad on the outside. And some of the new ones, the SPK Plus pads, actually come with their own backplate with that as well. So with the shoulder pads, something like this probably is in the higher price range, but the Riddell SPXs are a good pick as well. The Douglas CP69 pads are a good one as well. But really, I'm just going to just say basically with the shoulder pads, they need to be lightweight, they need to be flexible, but they got to offer you protection. And so one of the other kind of key accessories that go with shoulder pads with these, if you can get a back plate, find a back plate with a lot of protection. One of the ones I would recommend would be the Douglas 6-inch back plate. Something specifically with this pad, which is more custom just to this pad. Also, Riddell Chrome back plate, Riddell Power Extreme back plate. Like ones that have a big surface. You don't want one that's going to be, for like a receiver type. You want something with a big surface to protect you. And then another key aspect, and I'm not saying you have to have a back plate or anything, but another thing that I think is pretty key with your shoulder pads, and I know, like I said, I've shown you more than 5 things, but something else that's fairly useful to a linebacker is a butterfly restrictor. Okay, butterfly restrictor. This main one by Douglas is really the big one that's out here. This is meant for linebackers. I'm going to have a video come out on this, so definitely stay tuned for when I upload this video on this, and I have a full detailed review on these. But these go and attach right here to your shoulder pads. I don't believe these fit as well on this pad, but essentially they would sit right back up here along the neck area, and it just provides another layer of protection, another key accessory for inside linebackers. Outside linebackers maybe not as well with this, but I do think it adds to the linebacker's look. It adds kind of a menacing look to that linebacker. It's a very cool little product. Definitely something all linebackers should consider. Some type of neck protection is just an extra thing to add to the overall arsenal of everything that you're using. The very last thing I'm going to talk about is the mouth guard, because I think the mouth guard is one of the probably something we haven't talked too much about in these top 5 lists, but one that I think is fairly important is something specifically with the position of linebacker. Okay, you got to think about what all the linebacker does before the play. He's setting his defensive line, he's communicating out there, he's giving a strength call, he's communicating anything, run or pass. So you've got to be able to be heard on the football field. So if you find a mouth guard, and kind of the common one that's fairly popular today is the battle mouth guard, specifically the battle oxygen mouth guard. This requires no boiling or anything. You just stick it in and go. It doesn't require any molding. You just pop it in and go. And it's, as you can see, the big hole in the middle provides a lot of oxygen. Obviously, that's why it's called the oxygen mouth guard, but it has a ton of breathability, and it allows you to be able to talk on the field. Because you put this in, before the play, you could say, strong right. Obviously I'd do it a lot louder, but that allows you to at least be heard. Can you understand me clearly? If I'm trying to yell at the strength call, strong right, you got to be fairly loud when you do that. But something that's fairly cheap and something that can be just added into your arsenal to help you out as a linebacker definitely is the mouth guard. So if you guys think I left anything out, you're definitely welcome to leave any of the things that you use, any of the more specific things that you use, cleats, gloves. As a linebacker, you're definitely welcome to leave those. If you have any more questions on any of the products I showed today, definitely leave a comment down below, and I'll answer those as soon as I get them. Be sure to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. Make sure you turn on notifications. Make sure to find my Patreon and go support me on Patreon as well. But thank you guys so much for watching this, and we will see you next time.